Hey Becca, it's Martha. Hello. Your video is off and you're muted. Hi. How are you?
All right, how are you?
Good. I love those pink glasses or red glasses.
Well, had to do something fun. The rest of me is getting awfully gray.
I know. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my life's calming down enough to be dependable,
That's good.
but we'll see. Probably just jinxed it.
No. I mean, this isn't here's Janice. Here are people coming in now.
Oh, yeah.
I was supposed to be, this is Janice, who's not, there we are.
Hey.
I was supposed to be the greeter, and I was a little late getting on because I had to update Zoom, of course, it told me. And I'm hoping before we start, I can ask Susan, because I'm also, last time she wanted me to close the meeting and I didn't know how to do it. So I need to get instructions on how to do that.
Okay. I think Susan is trying to host this time.
Oh, well, she wanted me to be co-host so that I could
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
visitors like Becca, who's already here.
Hi, Becca.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Becca. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Martha. Janice.
Yeah,
All right.
We're just waiting for Susan and Jeanette, right?
yeah.
Yep.
Unless there's another visitor that are coming that I don't know about.
No, the one person I invited, she said she'd think about it. Maybe next month. I guess I didn't give her enough of a lead time. So
Yeah.
How's it going, Joanne?
We're frantic.
Oh.
Oh.
Mm. Well, I
shelves
see
are empty.
Luckily, I have two wonderful kids and their wonderful partners who are coming over here and doing blitzes every week and removing things and taking stuff out and helping us. So it's wonderful. Yeah.
That's great. I see
Yeah.
lots of empty shelves behind you. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, that's good too. Yeah.
Oof.
My coffee urn will be represented at the event on Saturday, but I won't be there because I have COVID again.
Don't
Oh, no.
don't feel compelled, people. Do not feel compelled.
Well,
Please.
I can't legally.
I didn't even know it was Saturday until yesterday when I ran into Rita and she said, "Oh, I'll see you on Saturday." And I said, "What?"
Oh, we didn't,
So
we didn't spoil the surprise.
my husband doesn't give me details on things. So yeah, anyway, I'm grateful, but don't feel compelled. So I'll be seeing you a lot after this Saturday. Apparently, according to Rita, I can be on the Council on Aging for as long as we have property in Shutesbury. So that may be a lot longer time.
I hope for your sake it's not, but I'm happy for us it is.
Yes.
Well, we'll be gone, but the house will be here and getting ready to be sold and stuff like that. And hopefully finding good neighbors.
Yeah.
How close are you to one another? Close
to what?
4 houses.
Oh, 4 houses, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
There she is.
There she is.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Gotta get her.
Does everyone know Becca?
Hi.
I think we all do.
Janice, Susan, Martha, everybody knows Becca, and I'm sure Jeanette does too because of Village Neighbors.
Right.
Okay, I don't see any sign of Jeanette yet.
She knows that I saw her she was playing her accordion at the co-op today, so she was reminded we have a
That was
meeting.
her. Yeah,
Okay.
okay, well, I will attempt to pay attention to somebody trying to get into the meeting because it'll be Jeanette.
That's what you wanted me to do originally.
Yeah, but that's okay because I have to be the host to do it and it gets too confusing. I appreciate it, Janice.
Okay, good, because I don't know how to close a meeting, as we discovered last time. How to
Oh, yeah.
shut one down.
Yes, and I have to get out of
Okay.
out of Zoom. So, yeah. Oh, here she comes.
Okay,
Here
so Jeanette,
Don't tell me she's here. She just has everything shut off.
Right.
There she comes. Well, per second.
Okay, so
hey, Jeanette.
all here.
All right.
All right. Shall we call the meeting to order at 5:36 p.m. with a roll call vote of those present and our visitor, Bernhard present.
Favre present.
Ray, present.
Millinger present.
Becca, visitor present.
Yeah, I don't think that you really have to say that you're present, Rebecca. You're in the minutes already.
Okay, Jeanette, make your
Turn your
unmute
audio off.
yourself.
Dr.
There you are.
Present.
Okay. Great. So we're welcoming Becca Wheeler, who hopefully will let herself become a member of the Council on Aging. We know that David Wheeler was a member for a number of years and was an important contributor, and we all miss him a lot. And we're really, really happy to welcome Becca if she would like to join us. So thank you for attending, Becca. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
And so the first agenda item is the minutes of November 8th. Did everyone have a chance to look? Does anyone have comments?
I have a picky one, gray here, but I also see that the copy that I have still has in red under October expenses. I don't seem to have data for this category, so I don't know if I have an out of date version.
No, I have, you don't have an out of date one. Sorry, Janice, this is Susan. I took that out, but
Oh,
I hadn't sent it around to everybody. So when you get the
Okay.
final copy, that section won't be there. It was,
Oh.
it wasn't anything that transpired at the meeting. It was me in a tacky way communicating that I thought it ought to be there in the future.
oh, okay. So my
Okay.
little picayune comment is that I don't remember seeing this the first time around. Sorry if it was there. It says under FY24 expenses, Gazette issues, plural, $800, and one issue was 800. And this seems to suggest we're going to have more than one issue. And maybe we will, but it's not going to be too.
This is Bernhard. I think 2 issues were 800. I think one was maybe 400. No,
No,
and a second one was 400.
no. We only had one issue in FY23 and it was 800. Or
Okay.
we budgeted 800 and it may have come in for less, but I'd have to go back through the minutes for the finance.
I'm sure you're correct. Thank you. Okay.
So does that mean I change the minutes to say Gazette issue period 800?
That's what I thought it had originally said.
Okay. Yeah, and I thought I changed the number from 200, but I don't see it in the copy I ran off.
Well, you did. You
Mhm.
had 200 and I corrected you then.
Yeah, but I see it in this draft I sent you, although I thought I corrected it.
I
Sorry.
see 800 in the draft. Maybe
Oh.
there's more than one draft. I'm
Oh,
getting
I
confused.
must have run off the wrong draft. Sorry.
Okay. So do we need an amendment to the minutes?
About the correct cost of one Gazette?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. So moved.
Okay. So can we make an amendment for the cost of the Gazette, of one Gazette issue to be $800?
I think we can make a friendly amendment, yeah.
Okay. Meaning what? Sorry.
I was gonna ask that too.
Well, I think meaning there's not a lot of fuss about making a change. It's something that
Okay,
Linda
so,
was, so I figured there was a reason.
okay, so should we say approving the amendments at the minutes as amended,
Yes, please.
please? Okay, I move we approve the minutes as amended.
I second it.
Second? Martha?
I second.
Bernhard, aye. Roll call vote. Bernhard, aye.
Favre, aye.
Gray, I.
Millinger, I saw her say it.
Yes, we lip read Stockton.
Thank you.
Stockton?
Aye. Stockton,
Oh,
aye.
thank you. Okay, unanimous, thank you. So the second thing on the agenda is the smartphone survey results, which Martha got back for us. Martha?
Yes.
I missed them and I'm sorry. Oh,
What
there it
about
is.
the
There it
financial update? Sorry. What about the financial update? That's next on my agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I sent that out today kind of late. And I sent it out to everyone because I think it's easier for Susan to get all the numbers lined up correctly for her minutes.
It is.
The bottom line is that we have about $2,315 in the spring semester for whatever we want to do with it. Okay, for this fiscal year 24. So part of that is trying to determine what we can do with this money, what we would like to do with this money. And the I did send around if people want to look at it later.
I have it here and it does say Gazette singular $800. So I anticipated.
You're right, Janice, and I didn't understand that correctly. I thought that was one Gazette. Didn't
It
you
is,
say
it
that?
is. What I'm saying is what you sent around today is correct.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I don't think we need to move on that. Just keep in mind that we have over $200,000. I'm sorry, 200,000. I wish. $2,000 to spend on the spring programming. Okay. Okay, Martha.
There we go.
Right,
Smartphone.
so, smartphone presentation, the summary. I had sent everybody a copy of, the results. So we had 10 in attendee and 7 responded to the survey. And, all of them found that the, program was very helpful. So, 7 yeses. One woman had a conditional that, yes, but she really doesn't want to use her phone any more than necessary. But things that people learn, the second question, can you list 2 things that you can now do comfortably on your phone? And people can use maps, they can use new apps. They can delete unwanted maps. They have better understanding of how the settings work. And they can send pictures, control the screen. So that was helpful. Would people attend a second session to continue improving their skills? And one person said no, because they didn't want to learn any more skills because they don't want to use their phone. But 6 from all the other yes participants, and one requested a I just lost it, a program they would like to have a 6 to 8 week session with different topics. So and they would be willing to pay for those services. Let's see, let me go down. Were Barbara's teaching techniques effective? Yes, small groups were really appreciated. It gave enough time for people to look at the information and be able to absorb it. And she was able to answer questions, and they appreciated her energy. One person said that the agenda wasn't clear, and she didn't have a set agenda. She started with settings, but and one person thought she jumped around too much. And any additional workshops for people that would be interested, cultural activities such as going to concerts as groups, arts and crafts projects, monthly technology programs. One person wanted to know how to use Nextdoor, the social media better, or Microsoft Office Suite. So I thought it was great that we got, actual responses from the people that attended. And so I guess my thought is looking at what like Leverett offers the students from GCC to come down, the IT students to come down and help people in Leverett use their computers. So, I mean, that's a possibility that we might want to think about.
Mhm.
So that's the summation of the program.
Martha, for Becca's sake, can you summarize
Oh, sorry.
quickly what the program was about?
Sure. Sorry about that, Becca. So Barbara Frieden, who is a former librarian at the Irving Library, has taught, she did a program on 2 separate programs, one in the morning on the 25th of October and one in the afternoon. And the morning one was dedicated to the use of Apple iPhones, smartphones, and how to use them. So class was limited to 6 people, and she taught people how to go into settings and how to control brightness so they weren't, running down their battery. And people learned how to sync their Mac to their phones, taught them how to use the calendars. And she was able to take time and help people individually. And then the afternoon one was dedicated to Android, and she did not have an Android. And so it took her a little time in terms of trying to figure out where the Android pieces were, but people felt that it was successful for the Android too.
Great idea.
And she was,
Mhm.
she charged us $100 a set, $50 a session. Correct, Joanne? A total of
Yeah.
100. And she
Wow.
wouldn't take any travel time. We got her a nice lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really great. Yeah.
She's willing to do more for us, so
Thanks,
Mhm.
Martha.
you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. The COA phone there's a COA phone which is in the basement of Town Hall in the quote unquote senior lounge, which has now become a repository of Chief Kristen's car seats. And our former member Sue Gomberg, as a volunteer, checks the phone messages. And there have been a couple of phone messages recently that have been out of the ordinary. One was a person whose parents in Shutesbury, I believe they were elderly parents. The mother was in the hospital with a stroke, and they were looking for medical advocacy. So I put out feelers to the Board of Health, to the nurse, to the town nurse, to LifePath, and found out that in fact LifePath does have a medical advocacy program. LifePath, do you know, Becca, LifePath
Yes,
in
yeah.
Greenfield?
Yep.
Okay. And so, but of course, people have to be members of LifePath in order to get these services. And so I contacted the person and gave her the LifePath information, and I tried to get back in touch, but haven't gotten back in touch, haven't managed to get back in touch yet to see. Of course, when someone is in the hospital with a severe condition, it's really hard to say, oh, you have to go now and become a member of LifePath, because that's an intake process. So I think this is a place for us to do more advocacy. And I think Martha had a great idea of having a presentation of LifePath come, which we can discuss in a minute. And the second phone call that we got was a person outside of Shutesbury who was in Pelham, who had an elderly person move to Shutesbury and was without contact information, was without internet, was without phone, was without any services. And the person who contacted was very upset about the person's being alone and not supported. And again, the solution for the whole thing was LifePath. So I hope that that information got back to the person who had just moved into Shutesbury, because the Council on Aging is not doing med rides anymore. And the many services that LifePath has, you know, medical rides and Meals on Wheels and people coming in for home care. There are a lot of services that can help an elderly person who needs help. So that's number 2 for LifePath, which will lead us into, in a minute, Martha's idea about having a programming presentation with LifePath. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the messages on the phone, the COA phone? It's in the basement. It's in the quote senior lounge unquote. So Sue Gomberg, you know, dials in every now and then and picks up messages and passes them on. Janice?
Does Sue Gomberg have to physically go into the lounge to get the messages, or can she access?
No, she does it as a volunteer.
But I mean, she could do it from home or wherever she is?
She does it from home.
Oh, good, thank you.
Susan?
It seems as though those 2 calls required ideally a pretty timely response,
That's
which suggests
Yes.
that if we might want to ask Sue to check in every day.
She checks in very frequently and sends the messages on directly. And I reached out to the person whose I think it was mother was in the hospital immediately, and spoke with her at length. And the next message came a couple days later, and I reached out to that person immediately and spoke to her at length. So
Well,
I don't think there was a delay, but I appreciate that. Yeah.
thank you for taking care of it, Joanne,
Yeah.
or doing your best to figure out the best answer.
I wish I could have done more. But if we're going to look at LifePath, Martha, yeah. Martha?
No, just finish what you're saying. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say it's really important, I think, to encourage people who are caregivers or who have elderly parents, particularly very elderly parents, one was a situation with a husband and wife. The mother was in the hospital with a severe stroke, and the husband was practically deaf. So even when he went to the hospital, he couldn't understand what was going on. A very, very serious situation. But when people are in that circumstance and then have to apply for intake, it's going to take too long, So getting people to understand that applying for services as soon as they can, I think is really important. Jeanette?
I have a bunch of things to comment on. So
Go ahead.
hopefully they'll make sense. The first is, I think Village Neighbors also might have gotten a call, if I remember correctly,
Mhm.
potentially through this too. So I just wanted to mention that. The second is the bad thing, of course, is being in the hospital, but the good thing about being in the hospital is that very often social services and lots of people come in, swoop in and kind of take care
Right.
of things to the point where you're just like, I just saw balloons, but I was feeling that like, no, it's
Mhm.
not like they're like, okay, you're not okay, and let's just throw you out on the street. In fact, it actually often starts a very positive process forward. So we shouldn't berate ourselves that like, oh, we haven't done enough. I just wanted to mention that. The third thing is Village Neighbors recently had a great meeting with the Life Path people, and we were trying to get all our emergency responders. We got two. Thankfully, one of them was our I don't want to say names, but our fire chief here who was there and really willing to listen and has already taken our brochures and is very concerned of, about people that he's worried about it. So I think people are often on the radar there as well, and that might also be a vehicle for getting people. But in terms of the Life Path people, the one person who did a great job for us just the other day, I'm sure they would be back in a flash at our next meeting because they're so willing and able to help, and they really want to. So I think I got all my comments out of the way there. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's table that for just a few minutes until we get to the issue of presentations. Yeah, I totally agree, Jeanette. I mean, getting a phone call when someone's in the hospital and struggling and the family's struggling and um I don't know that we can ask questions about, do you have power of attorney? Do you have a healthcare proxy? Do you have all these things that we have a couple of different times tried to post in our newsletters about, you need these things, people. It didn't seem like those things were in place at all. And there were, just to answer your question on this one phone call, that all the things that the hospital had were in place, but it wasn't solving the problem. So there were other issues that weren't being addressed. And I know my daughter is a speech and language pathologist at Bay State in Greenfield, and I called her and said, look, what has to happen here? And she said, well, there's a stroke protocol and it has this and this and this and this, and those things should be happening for this person, which apparently were not happening for this person. So I called the, caller back and said, these things should be happening for you. Are they happening? And they weren't. So then it made her know to go to the hospital and demand those services inside the hospital. But yeah, new territory for me, for us, maybe to know how to deal with severe problems like this. So to try and get ahead of it, I think is really important. Janice?
I wasn't going to say anything, but I've had from very personal experience within the last month and a half, understanding that the hospitals staff, not necessarily the, in-room nurses or anything like that, but maybe that too, are so short-staffed. They are running way,
Mm.
way behind.
Yeah.
I called to say, I just tested positive for COVID. What should I do? It took,
No.
I have not what should I should do, but I have an appointment coming up. Should I cancel it? And it took 5 days for them to get back to me.
Oh, oh.
And similar things have been happening in trying to order diabetes supplies, and it's not their fault, but everything is
Mm.
taking very long. So we shouldn't, I'm
Mhm.
afraid we can't just say the hospital social workers are going to solve things. It's taken me weeks to see a hospital social worker.
Mhm.
So that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd like to just add on to that, and I think both Becca and Martha would agree. We're seeing things in Village Neighbors like we've never seen before. And we're facing the same thing, like, what do we do? What is out there? How can we help? And to a certain extent, if it sounds like some of these people are new to the town, or at least their family is kind of like swooping in now and saying, oh, my parents need help. But I think it's really interesting that our emergency responder here was very interested in the idea of I guess Hawley, I think, which is a very small town up north, is being almost a field, they're fielding out as a model for how can we have access to all the people in our town so we know what they need. And we know that they're getting what they need when they need it. So I think it is, as you said, brand new territory, and we have to be on it. And people also personally, I think, to a certain extent, need to be on it. At least their family does. And if people need that much help that they're not able to make decisions for themselves, then that's another matter altogether that, to a certain extent, their family needs to be somewhat involved with. And if they have no one, then the town needs to step in,
I don't know, I think you got issues of confidentiality you have to be real careful of.
And that was the big message that we got from Holly, that we just want to be able to help people, and they're so like really super confidential on it all. I'm not saying, oh, we should be looking around who needs help and let's share. I just think that there needs to be a greater awareness that there's more people that need help.
Oh. Susan?
Okay, I think that it's the role of COA is to know who to refer to, because we're not trained medical personnel and we're not trained social. At least I don't know that I'm certainly not. So, we can't feel that we can solve the problems of the world, but we do to know, have the referrals at our fingertips, I think. Does that make sense to people?
I agree.
Yes.
It's Martha. And I think it's also one of the roles that we can serve is to provide as much education to people that want to listen and want to plan. And so, yeah, I mean, we're not, Joanne did a great job, in terms of fielding those questions. And, they're not, I mean, we can send them in the right direction, but it's not our responsibility to manage it. Unfortunately, there are professionals out there, and, Life Path, and hopefully they're getting some resources from social workers. But yeah, short staff.
Susan?
You guys remember Welcome Wagon?
Sure.
I wonder, does anybody know when new older senior folks move to town? Because if we had a way of knowing, it would be appropriate to have a little Welcome Wagon visit with leaving information about who locally and what information they might have.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, Stockton here, I'm just gonna do a shout out because I know somebody who has recently moved to town in the last 2 years and realized the import of trying to find community and is spearheading getting it going again. Christy.
Christy Payne.
Mhm. I think Martha invited her to join the COA. Martha, but
I
she's
did-
maybe
I did,
considering. Or,
Well, she was hesitant about political and I expressed, I said, I could appreciate not wanting to get
No.
involved in political committees, but I don't really see the COA as a political committee. So,
no.
she also said that she couldn't attend this time, but she'd be, up for sort of sitting in and actually seeing what we do before, so she can make an informed decision. So I told her, I said, get back to me. So I'll, try and reach out. I'll reach out in, beginning of January and give her a heads up. This is when we're meeting. So, yep.
Yeah,
My question is,
wonderful.
Janice is speaking, sorry, I keep forgetting to do that. I didn't catch the name of the person.
Should we be
Christy Payne.
saying names?
What?
I wasn't sure if we should be saying names. Is
Okay,
that
well,
okay?
you did say a name and I didn't hear it.
Well,
And I thought it was my
yeah.
ears, so.
I said their first name.
Susan, you can choose to, would you put that in the records or not?
What?
The minutes, someone's name such as that. I'm just asking in terms of not knowing
Well, I guess I might put the name of, it's a committee's decision, actually, the council's decision. I might put the name of somebody who's being invited to join us, but
okay.
I wouldn't need to do it until she actually came. I don't know. What do you?
I didn't know if
I-
Robert Rules of Order, there was,
I don't really
Yeah.
think follow Robert's Rules of Order.
okay.
But
Hi,
the,
this is Joanne. I think we can say we invited someone, and if the person that agrees to attend, we can post her name.
okay, that sounds good. That okay with every?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have that kind of decision on the cemetery commission about when to include names and when not to.
Okay. And we are definitely not a political community committee. Yeah. Okay, so we've moved from the phone. We've talked about actually recruiting new members. And if anyone else has beyond the Becca and the person that Martha contacted, if anyone else has ideas about people to contact, please do so. Susan?
I don't have an idea, but this is my eternal request. We need to have some guys on this committee. It shouldn't just be women.
Mm.
So if you can
Yeah.
think of, I mean, we had two good guys, the two Davids.
Yeah.
It really would benefit if you all can think of
Mhm.
good guys to invite.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, think on it. Okay, so the next item on the agenda are the annual reports. And I just wanted to let people know that there are two annual reports. And this is more for the benefit of the new members. One is the town annual report, which Susan Millinger has always done with her wonderful encapsulation of what we've done through the years. She goes back over all the minutes, right,
Yeah.
Susan, and looks up everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have only done it a couple years. Janice did it for years.
Okay, Janice has done it for years too.
Thank you.
The second annual report is the EOEA, which is the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, which is the Massachusetts government official office for elder affairs in the Commonwealth. That annual report for years was done on paper. And it was done with data presented to the town administrator. In the last year or so, it's been, the COA has kind of taken it over to provide the data for it. And last year it was actually put online by the EOEA. And which made it much, much, much easier to do, because you just go online and fill out the, the pages as they go by with what they really want to know. And for a small town like Shutesbury, it's so minimal what we have to do. How many volunteers do we have? What kind of activities do we do? How many people do we serve? What kind of that kind of thing. And I've done it for the last, I guess 4 or 5 years. And it hasn't been posted yet. It hasn't come up. So when it does, I think I'm going to print out last year's and share it with Martha and go over it and see, what we need to do. I have to say, the last couple of years, I've asked all of you to keep very careful track of your hours. And after having added up everyone's very precise hours of everything, it turned out that doing an average of 3 or 4 hours a month came out to the same amount of time. So I think we can absolve everyone of trying to keep accurate hours and just put in maybe 4 hours a piece a month for everyone, if that's okay. The thing about this report to the EOEA is that it does not affect the grant. I originally thought it did. I thought you had to turn in the report in order to get the grant. It doesn't. It's their report for data, for their annual report. And so it does not affect the grant that we get from the EOEA. So we don't need to worry about every half hour that people do or don't do. Okay. We just need to get a good round number of what we do, and then list, well, what programs we've done, all the library fitness programs, the smartphone program, anything that we've done, and how many people have participated. And usually we have good access to that data. So I'll be doing it again, and I'll share it with Martha so that we'll know how to do that in the future. Anybody have any questions about that? Susan?
I just think that you and Mark, 3 to 4 hours a month. Right.
But it evens out.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure. I mean, people at different times put in more work. I know Janice puts in a lot more work at certain times.
Yep.
I put in more work at certain times, but less work at other times. So I think it really evens out. And Susan, of course, you do the minutes every month, so that you have a pretty steady number of hours that you put in. If anyone would like to do exact tallies of your hours, let me know. And
Right,
if not, we can.
I forget.
And if not, we can, we can, what's the word I'm looking for that my old brain can't come around? We can estimate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you think best.
It used to be much more complicated. I remember David Dan was trying to kind of wrest it away from the town administrator, who at that point had to sign off on it, and now the town administrator does not have to sign off on it. So it's become much more simplified. Okay, anything else? Or are we good to go on? Okay, peace of mind binder.
Oh, wait.
Martha, can you fill Becca in? I'm sorry.
We
Just
didn't talk about the annual report.
I just want to say that the report is due, our annual report is due to the town the 31st of January. So I will send a draft to you before the January meeting so that you can approve it then, if that's acceptable.
Thank you.
I didn't know it was
That's-
decided who was doing it, so thank you.
I think Susan has done it in the past, right,
And
Susan?
I have done it too.
Okay,
That's why
sorry,
I wasn't
Janice.
sure what was going on, because Susan's got a lot going on as host right now too. So.
Not a lot,
Okay.
but
Okay.
thanks.
So this is a movable feast, and Susan will do it this year, and we'll see who wants to do it next year. Martha?
Is the report always due the 31st of January of the following year? Is that
In-
like a date?
In the past, it may have been due the 31st of December. I don't remember.
Okay, all right, but, okay, thanks.
You know, we've got a new administrative assistant we're reporting to.
Okay.
Okay, Martha, Peace of Mind Binder?
Okay, Becca, I just sent it to you
Oh,
in your, go
Oh,
to your email, and I sent you a copy.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So everybody received a copy, I don't know, Sunday night when I finished this.
Mhm. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't, Joanne? All right. Wait a minute, let me send it to you again. The computers I'm working here.
Can you summarize, Rebecca?
I just sent her a copy, yep.
So
So
I just
okay,
pulled it up.
basically, what is the Peace of Mind binder is it's a booklet, a binder, a cardboard box, whatever sort of collection method people would keep papers that are important. And there's information in terms of contact. This is in the event that there's an emergency.
Uh-huh.
So in the event that there's an emergency, a lot of times, people, family members don't have a clue about parents' finances. They may not be, their name might not appear on bank accounts, which is a good thing. So I basically went through, let me just pull mine up. Hang on a second. I'm trying to get rid of. So this is a tool that people can have at home, and it will help them organize all those pieces of paper that they knew they should have.
Yeah. Still
So-
working on mine.
You
And
share,
what's that?
you want to screen share, Martha?
Oh God, how do you do that?
Oh,
Um,
okay. Probably not then.
I mean,
It's-
I have, if you can walk me through it, I actually, well, let's see. I did it on my laptop and then I sent it out. Joanne, you need a copy, correct?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
That's all right. Should I
I
just
can-
send it around again?
I was just able to
I
open it right now.
I got it.
So I think any one of us can possibly screen share it if you have the document open. Not that I'm
I
really
just-
good at this, but
Okay. AI summarizing our meeting.
What's that? AI is summarizing our meeting.
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay,
I have that I can
here's-
share a screen, it says. There's a green box, but somebody started it now. Okay,
Whoops,
or am I? Help,
someone is.
is it me?
maybe AI is
Oh,
Yeah.
doing it for us. Alexa has opened the screen.
did I get out of this screen? And I? No, Ugh.
I'm in on Susan's site, I think. That helps.
Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
seeing mails, Susan, Outlook.
Okay, Martha, I made you co-host, and you should be able to easily share.
Okay,
You want me to
Alright.
let somebody else do it?
can if somebody else, it's, I have it pulled up on my laptop. Let me, hang on a second. It would mean well, see, just walk me through it. I need to get into mail and, get out of this and then I can come back in, right?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay. Hang on a minute. Sent. Hmm.
There's a thing down at the bottom that says share screen.
Here we
Yep.
are.
Yep.
Can you see this?
Well, you need to share screen.
Oh, okay. How do I do that?
Well, your
Okay,
co-host,
I'm back. Wait a minute.
you should have a ability to share screen. You see share screen at the bottom in the ribbon at the bottom of your screen?
Share content, share content. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So screen broadcast, start broadcast, everything on your screen will be recorded. Okay, all right. So start broadcast. Okay. All right.
Hmm.
Okay, you are sharing the screen. Okay,
Mhm.
share
Well
device.
done.
All right, so let me just, how do I get, okay, so this is the screen I want to share. Can you
Yay.
see that?
Hey,
Yay.
Yay. Oh,
Wow,
whoa, whoa. Okay. All
courageous
right.
move.
So let's see. So basically the intro is create this, let your families know about it, put it in a place that isn't locked up. Family members sometimes have no idea what's going on in the event of emergency death, whatever. So that's the purpose of this. First thing is contacts, relatives, close friends. Contact information include addresses, phone numbers, financial, bank accounts. I think it's helpful to add a relative, or if you're going to give somebody the power of attorney, the person that you're giving it to is the agent and you're the principal. Those are the legal terms. So consider putting the agent on bank accounts so they can at least have access so they can draw from them. And also social secure, the safety deposit boxes in the event you have various things there. List life insurance policies, names, accounts, passwords. Don't forget passwords for all these things. List of investments, list of businesses and passwords that are automatically withdrawn from your accounts monthly. Because if you were to, say you were to go into extended care and they're continuing to take the internet fees or whatever out of your monthly account, that's going to add up. And again, you need to provide people with the passwords to get into these accounts. Health information, copies of your health cards, who are your physicians and what are their specialties? You know, is Dr. Sangalis my primary or is he a cardiologist? It's just going to make it easier for family members or whomever it is that's trying to take care of you. List of medications and what pharmacy do you go to? And then medical forms. And some of these medical forms that are listed below may be in your health record, so it's good to check. A lot of us have portals, and so I actually tried checking there. I didn't find it, but so Healthcare proxy, the first thing. So it's legally valid Massachusetts, and it allows you to, as I said, you're the principal and you can name an agent. And the healthcare proxy is signed, and this goes into effect when you're unable to make decisions or communicate those decisions. And so you need to have some frank discussions in terms of what are your wishes. So let's see. End of life. So hang on a second. Do I have the most? I hope this is the okay, health information. I'm just making sure. All right. Okay. So there are two at the bottom here. I listed two options. There are two links there. It looks kind of crunched up. And the reason why I put those is the first one is Mass Medical, the physician group. And that's a nice one because there are like 9 discussion questions that really get people starting to think about, what are your desires in terms of how you want to be cared for and extended life and blah, blah, blah. And the next link is actually just to the simple healthcare proxy form and instructions on how to fill that out. So just interrupt me if you have questions as we go along. Healthcare directives, advanced directives, or living wills. So these state what the wishes are at the end of life. Do you want to be a DNR, a do not resuscitate? Do you want heroic measures? This isn't legally binding, but it guides your agent. And again, there's a link for that. And then the next medical form is a medical order for life-sustaining treatment. And this needs to be signed by your healthcare provider. And again, it's based on preferences and whether you want to refuse medical treatment. And so these molds are printed on a really bright orange paper, and in that Astro Bright Pulsar pink, and that's the color you can ask for if you want to get these printed at home, and you can get that Astro pink at Staples. And the EMTs and Shutesbury paramedics are trained to look for these things. They're generally posted. They tell people to post them on the refrigerator, so when they come into the home, they're going to look for those, and that will provide direction. So these are listed. These are the sites are there, and if you're at the point where providers are talking about what are your wishes, if you're these things are generally offered by your medical provider. And then so power of attorney. I spent a lot of time trying to make sense of power of attorney. Okay. So in Massachusetts, there are 4 different types of power of attorney. They're recognized in this state. And so there's the general power of attorney, which deals with finances. It lets your agent, the person you identify, to pay your bills, file taxes, sell or mortgage your home. And it terminates when the person, the principal, becomes incapacitated or dies. Okay. Interesting point. If you're thinking about selling property, this general power of attorney should be registered with the registry of deeds in the county. So in Franklin County, it's worth giving one of these power of attorney to the register of deeds, because that if you become wait a minute, they become okay, that's stand corrected. That goes with durable power of attorney. We'll get to that in a minute. These things are I realized I'm not, I never thought I would be a lawyer, and I'm not. Okay, so general power of attorney terminates when the person becomes incapacitated. All right. Limited power attorney, that's set up for just like something specific, like granting power for a particular thing like paying bills, or you can give your lawyer the power of attorney to sell your property when you move to Florida and you don't want to come back. They're not real helpful, was the
Mhm.
take that I got from limited. But durable power of attorney, this is the one. So this is the one that grants people authority to act on your behalf if you are if you become temporarily or permanently incapacitated. And this is where a durable power of attorney, if there's a thought of selling property, dealing with property, it's Massachusetts, it says that it's best to have this durable power of attorney on record at the Registry of Deeds in Franklin County, because it's just going to ease that process. Did I miss something?
Looks to me as though these all stop when the person dies, the principal dies.
So it's interesting, in terms of that, I called up the bank, and this is the one thing I'm not sure about. So I called up People's Bank, that's who we deal with, and I explained, so do these end with death? And the woman that I talked to in the main office, she said, yes, they do. And I said, well, how do you then move forward if somebody has died? And she said, the bank will honor if you get a what do you call it?
Executor?
Well, you can become the
Will or trust, which names the people who are executive or yeah, or trustee, or as
yeah,
they use now.
she spoke to the bank, and they said, yes, power of attorney ends with a person's death, but if they plan to continue managing financial matters, the agent would need to obtain a death certificate from the mortician, bringing the death certificate into the bank, and ask that the power of attorney be changed to guardian.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, and then that will allow the guardian to manage the financial aspects. So,
So
so-
can I just ask a quick question, Martha? Or
Yeah.
a thought that maybe could be put upon this? Stockton here, by the way. I think from the little bit I've done with this with my dad, and some of it you've even been helpful with the Molston stuff, it's a huge amount of work. And the more you can get things spelled out ahead of time. So I'm even thinking if a person knows that they go to People's Bank or they go to Citizens Bank, it might be great to have a line in there, a suggestion like, ask your bank what they're gonna do, what they want.
Mm.
right, I guess the one thing that I need to this isn't going to go to press in the next week, but so that was People's Bank, and I'm like, is this a standard practice within Massachusetts? I don't know. So that's one thing. I didn't put this in this document because I just wanted to check. And yeah, that's a good point, Jeanette. And then the other thing too is that I had links for all the others, but I did not have links for this power of attorney, because pardon me, I think I set up here that in the beginning, there are several sites on the internet that offer samples of different types of power of attorney. But in talking to the woman at People, she said, there are 4 different types of power of attorney in Massachusetts, and people don't realize this when they go to Staples and purchase forms. And Staples has a pack, it's like $23. And so there's power of attorney and there's durable power of attorney. So I chose not to add links for these different types of power of attorney because I think it I wasn't I don't know. Some of them were clearer than others, and so I don't know. And I also wasn't anyhow, not being a lawyer, I didn't want, I just wanted to, in clarity in terms of our role, council on aging. I didn't want to cross that line in terms of, offering legal, advice, which is, that's not the point of what we're doing.
But Martha, we could add kind of common sense advice and just say, check in with your bank. They might even have some kind of packet available as well that's particularly related to these questions if one asks. Because everybody, a credit union, a bank, a big corporate bank where you can't even find a person to talk to, we're better off where we are with these nice local banks, but they might have stuff prepared or at least suggestions of what
Right.
they expect. So a simple line that says, it would probably be really advantageous and beneficial for you to check in with your bank. What's going to happen? And what will you expect? What will you want?
Uh-huh.
I think it would be a bad idea to check with a lawyer. You've probably got a lawyer. And this is important information for the family to know who the lawyer is and what the lawyer's information is.
Okay. I mean, that's why I didn't,
I think you're really right about not going into detail about just letting people know the different kinds exist and they need to look into it, or they could look into it.
right, because, yeah. The woman at the bank said, people come in here with the, if you just get a power, there are differences for each of these power of attorney. So I think, yes, as I said in the intro, consult the lawyer for a specific type that's best suited to your needs.
Yeah, good advice.
And it keeps us out of the loop too. So, all right, so that's it for all these power of attorneys. Springing power of attorney, that springs into effect if you become incapacitated, but the level of that isn't clearly defined, so people could end up going to court, so that's kind of not very helpful. Legal information for the family. Who is your legal counsel? Attorney, address, phone number, and a copy of your last will and testament. And then end of life wishes. I mean, for some people, they've been all set up. So it's helpful to know, the phone number of the funeral home or mortuary, whatever the case may be. Do they have a nice urn that they choose to use? So hopefully this gives people some things to consider and think about in a non-threatening way.
I wonder if you want to include the Cemetery Commission's website, because there are different kinds of burials.
That's a great idea.
Good idea.
There are many different
Yeah.
kinds of burials nowadays, and in Shutesbury Cemetery, there's a green portion.
Right. Okay, so, okay, thank you. So, contact Cemetery Commission.
Yeah, look at the website.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Susan.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I have another.
This is Jo.
I have
I
another.
was wondering about trusts. If there should be something about a trust which ends up having a different end of life carryover than a will or than a will alone, if there's a trust document.
Okay.
That of course is a lawyer issue, but
A lawyer issue.
Okay.
it's on the next to last one, legal information, your legal counsel or attorney, copy of your last will and testament, and or trust documents.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
If I can go
Yeah.
back to out of the lawyers and death, I want to suggest that you might refer to a password manager.
Mm.
Greatly simplifies life for a person, and certainly an elderly person, it's simplifying my life.
Okay, okay, great, okay. Password manager, okay.
Yeah. We might put in there somewhere that you might consider getting a password manager.
Is there,
To know is one password.
oh, okay, okay. Is there a company that,
Glenn, what's our password manager?
Sorry?
Dash Lane.
I think
Dash
mine-
Lane.
Pass, but there are several.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might want to, Gray here, you might want to explain what a password manager is. It's not a
Yeah.
person necessarily. I hate to say mine's Google. So, or
Okay.
my Google account or my Gmail or something, and I can find passwords there.
okay, all right, password. All right, so, right, so this Martha Favre here. So Janice, you're saying that, I mean, do you keep them in a section in Google, or is Google also a password manager?
I don't even really know. I just know when I can't remember a password, I go to my account and it talks about security, and then it takes me to my saved passwords and I can see them.
Okay,
It asks me for a password to get into that. So
I think a password manager is different from storing stuff on Google. It's more.
okay, see, that's why I think it might be helpful to explain what you mean, because I'm not even sure. You know, I have mine written down in a book, but that's
yeah.
not the same thing.
This replaces putting it on your browser or having it written down in a book. The password online, it has all your passwords, and all you need to access it is one password for everything. And the password manager, when you're online, the password manager fills in your username and password.
The nice
Sweet.
thing about that too is it will give a list of all the, the payouts and things like that you don't even think about, like cable and the person who takes care of your driveway and et cetera, all of the, the things you're paying bills for. You can probably, it makes a nice cohesive list as well. So it's double serves.
okay, great, thanks. Oh, the things.
This is
are-
Joanne. I'm just wondering, this is getting longer and more complex, which I appreciate. Village Neighbors people, did you have a lawyer come and talk to you about some of these things?
Not in my tenure.
Not recently, no.
Okay, I thought I remembered something about a presentation that a lawyer did. I'm wondering if we want to have this just checked over by a lawyer before we put it out there for people, just to make sure that there's so many pieces of this and it's so complicated. And I know when my parents passed, it took me a really, really, really long time to figure it all out. Not that what you're saying, if I'd had all this information, it would have been a lot easier, but I just want to make sure we're giving the correct information out to everybody. And I wonder if there's a lawyer who could look at this and just make sure we're correct.
Yeah, I think
I mean, maybe LifePath has someone, I'm not sure.
there are lawyers in town. Mayor Fox is a lawyer. We could ask Mayor to look at it.
Okay.
Or how about Michael Pills, I think? I don't know if he does that kind of law. I don't know
He's
if Mayor Fox is still in town. I think she might live in East Hampton now.
I don't think this is very sophisticated law until you get down to the whole power of attorney section. And even there, Martha's just sort of kind of describing them from what she's getting online. I think it's a good to have it checked, but I don't think we have to go to a great extent to find ourselves somebody to do it.
I mean, in the end, these are just a lot of really helpful suggestions and things to plan for and think about.
Okay.
That maybe it doesn't even need to go there, but I
Yeah.
guess it's safer to do it than not.
The thing about the password manager, you could just mention the existence of a password manager, which some people like to have, and give them a link to look online and see what one is. So you don't have to worry about defining it, I think. But some
Oh.
people might know about it.
Right. I mean, yeah, it would be. I don't know what it is. So yeah, I mean, in terms of having, yeah, I mean, if people know lawyers in town, it would be nice to have, I mean, I know a lawyer, she does, child, she works more with DSS, but I mean, I could ask her if she's willing to take a look at it.
Maybe there's a village
Or-
neighbor volunteer that could.
Say again, Becca, I didn't hear.
I'm sorry, I should have put my hand up, but I was thinking that Village Neighbors probably has a lawyer in their volunteer group
Mm.
that might be willing, and it would certainly help Village Neighbors out too. This is so, I mean, these two organizations are so
Mhm.
intertwined.
Right. Well, I think we're certainly willing to share
Mhm.
with Village Neighbors
I mean, we had the,
once we get the,
sorry, Stockton here, we had, I think, the attorneys, or even if it was just Greenfield, that came in and spoke to us. But in terms of this personal kind of finance, but they would probably be a good resource. To find somebody who might be able to look at this.
okay, so, do we think of course, we're not in a final version yet, right, Martha? Almost there?
No, Faber here, no, I mean, I need to put in, passenger, password manager and I just wanna, I wanna talk to, I'll talk to Florence Bank and see if Florence Bank would do the same thing as, power of attorney ends with death and a guardian, if you brought in the, death certificate. And, no, it's not. And I mean, I can think of a couple, people in town. One's a lawyer and one works for a lawyer. So let me see if we can get some help there.
Mhm. Okay, do we have a projected date for getting this out? Are we looking at the next Gazette issue?
May I speak
Janice?
to this? So we had a couple of years ago in the Gazette, a similar but much shorter document that Joanne worked on. It
Mhm.
was 386 words long and took up a full page. This document, as it is now on the screen and in my binder, literally, COA binder, is 1,062 words. So it's almost 3 times as much. So
Mhm.
that means that we're probably taking possibly 3 or even 4 pages of an 8-page newsletter to present this information. And I have a suggestion that occurred to me as I was looking at this. That doesn't give it a lot of room for other stuff in the Gazette, especially since 1/2 of 1 page is a blank mailing panel. So what if we have a Gazette that is only about this topic, with some basic contact information, sort of the boilerplate that we've had in the past about the foot care and short thing. I don't know, but I was worried that this is very, very long for a 14-point type, fairly short document. So I just want to throw that out there. I do not have an answer.
Could it
Good,
also,
good, yeah.
sorry, Stockton here, could it also be an insert within the Gazette? So it would be a pullout and be separate. We can talk about it in the Gazette and have everything else, but then it would be a separate piece. Adams does things like that. We just did the newsletter within our mailing, our Village Neighbors mailing.
And they did an insert?
Yep. Yep,
Wow.
they put it in.
They told us we couldn't do that for our town.
Okay, I have a different suggestion, which in the Gazette, we have a summary of what the document is about. And then we have the whole thing online and indicate that we can send it to anybody who would like to see it as a printed document. Because I think as Janice says, it would overwhelm the Gazette. We only put out one at most 2 issues of the Gazette. It's nice to have a variety of things in there.
This is Joanne. I agree with that. There are a number of people in town who do not have internet access. And so linking to an internet site isn't going to work for them. Although, yes, we could send them a printed copy. I know, frankly, a lot of people get these newsletters and don't read them. So I kind of have the feeling that having like if there were 4 pages on the inside of the Gazette that could be pulled out, you know, like the internal pages could be pulled out and saved, it might be more conducive for people to keep it and read it than by linking to a site. I know in the last time we did this, Linda told me that there were 90 households in Shutesbury that did not have broadband, and most of those are elderly. So I think we need to consider how to get the information out, to what the best way is. And I don't know how to do this. I'm just putting this out as a thought. But we can consider that when we get closer to the actual Gazette. Right, with actual articles for the Gazette coming up, if you would think about that.
Yeah.
Any comments? Martha, thank you so much for all the work you put in on this. It's
Oh, you're
been
welcome.
going on for a long time, and you've really done a really, really great job, I think.
Well, I
Very useful.
augmented what Janice had done a year ago, or 2 years, whatever. She had created one. I think it was you, Janice, that had created the information initially for
No,
the Gazette.
Joanne did it.
That was Joanne.
Oh, Joanne. Okay, thank you very much.
But it
So,
was very, very minor compared to what this is. This is a great building on that. And I think it's really important to get it out to people. So let's try and get it done for the next Gazette issue and decide how we want to present it. We can talk about that in the next meeting, maybe? Is that okay with everyone? Okay, so we have a couple more things and we're running out of time. So one of the next thing is programming ideas. We had a couple of interesting ideas come up. Martha had an idea of a life path presentation. Martha?
so you know, as I'm fairly new to this community, has to offer. So I thought it would be really helpful to, and I think that there's a great resource for all that they have to offer. So I thought it would be worthwhile to have a program given by LifePath to, explain some of the services, and also just they have a family caregiver program, and the way that's set up is you meet with a resource person. They're going to evaluate you either in the home or within Greenfield, and figure out the services that you might need, and so, and how the whole referral system works. I mean, I think it's we make references a lot to LifePath, but what do they offer? So I think it would be helpful to offer that to our committee and we could open it up to the town, so other people can attend.
I do have the name of this person who did the most comprehensive overview of Life Path. It took about 12 minutes at the emergency responders meeting. I learned so much. I mean, I would suggest, you know, she could even come to this, one of these meetings. Because she was fast and good, and I walked away like, oh, that's what Life Path can do.
And what was the
Mhm.
person's name?
Her name is Patty. I think it's Demer. I can check my notes and get that back to you if you remind me. But you know, I even followed up with a thank you to her, and she was like, yeah, I'm always available.
Do you think it would be worthwhile to have a program where we invite seniors to come? Seniors and their caregivers, or you know, we've been trying to come up with ideas where we get people out of the house and bring people together in a social setting. It could be with a lunch, it could be at the SAC with some, you know, with a lunch or something like that. Do you think
mean-
people would come?
You could, again, pair it with one of these things we're thinking about, and before we give out the ice cream, we watch the little video, because I don't know if she would actually come for that, but I mean, it was so fast and so good.
Mhm.
But just for us to become informed, it would be a good start.
Susan?
I think we're talking about two things here. One is informing the group in quickly, and the second is a presentation for the Shutesbury audience. And with regard to a presentation for the Shutesbury audience, yeah, it's a wonderful idea to have one in which people get together, but it'd be wonderful if it was also available on Zoom for people who were afraid to get into a group.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
they're more likely to be.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do we have the capacity for a large Zoom?
We have the same as town has, and we know that
town
they
has it.
can have, how many people now? Like 500? After some of these hot button topics we've had recently.
Okay,
I do,
okay.
Janice here, I do remember something about the Grace Spanish writing, that they had increased the capacity, and I believe it was 500.
Mhm. Okay.
This is Faber here. So
Okay.
the Zoom presenter could be in, it would what be in town hall, and then the Zoom is sent up from there? Or we could just, she could just zoom in from, yeah, never mind. They could zoom in from wherever.
Yeah, she has
We give them a Zoom.
slides.
Yep.
Mhm.
It could even, they're recorded. I'm sure it could even be put on our website under one of the many buttons we have now as a resource.
Okay. Sounds like a good idea.
But again, you know, the idea of starting with a small step and get her here next meeting or the meeting after. Let's us
Okay.
see it, and she might have thoughts as to what
Mhm.
could be the best presentation. But you know, thinking about what thinking about what Martha has done and created, and thinking about making these things available, those 2 phone calls that were on the answering machine, you know, if more people knew, they would have been a lot less worrisome for you, for everybody, and for that family. So this is good work that's being done.
Okay, so step number 1 would be, do you think would be getting the Life Path presenter to come to our meeting and give us your 12-minute spiel? And
Or
then
so.
moving out from there to a larger Zoom presentation for Shutesbury seniors? Okay. I have to say again, we do not have an email list. And we don't ever seem to know how to get one. Because when we put out something on the Gazette and ask people to give us their email addresses, we get 2 or 3. So there's no way that we have. I don't know how to do this. If anybody has a good idea, please let us know how to get an email list of everybody. Because we don't have that. And yes, we can put things out on Town Announce, and we can put things out on Next Door Shutesbury, and we can ask Mary Ann to, do her library list as we did before. But we do not have a comprehensive email list. We can send things out with the Gazette in the mail. And
We-
that's where we're at
We can do
with
a special,
contacting.
the people that we know don't have broadband.
We do have, I think Linda said there were 90 households that did not have broadband. And we could do a special mailing to those people. We could get that from Grace, I believe. So that's a question to consider. How do we get the word out once we decide what we want to do?
So just a point of clarity, there is probably some email list for the entire town, but we don't have
No.
anything. That's crazy.
There's not.
Wow.
People sign up for Town Announce. You have to sign up for it online.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have email, you don't even know about Town Announce, and you don't sign up for it. Which is something we could, again, put in the Gazette, how to do this. Or let us know if you would like to have paper copies of something. This is a real problem. And I know who some of these people are, who are neighbors, and it's difficult to get information out. So let's put on our thinking caps for that one for the next meeting to try and come up with a solution.
But it does give
Any
some,
idea?
it does give some credibility and value to this initiative that this town of Holly has kind of initiated, where it's like every household, and again, totally, they're obsessive about confidentiality, but they'll know who's out there and who they need to, the fire chief was talking about it. He has to just kind of do it by, and
Exactly.
we should be better than that.
Yeah. Martha?
This is Father here. How did the town of Holly do it?
They with paper and pencils and going around and bugging people. Much smaller town, but they also gave a presentation at this emergency responder meeting. I mean, that guy would probably come and talk to us. He was diverting he was just so interesting. Maybe a 15-minute spiel.
I'd like to point out that it's 7:02 and Joanne suggested we talk about this at the next meeting.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's all think about it between now and then. The two more quick things. We were thinking, Jeanette and I were kind of brainstorming a little bit about an exercise program that might be in person at the town hall in the senior lounge. Should we get the senior lounge back? I did contact the chief of police, who said that she was trying to organize an event around the boxes of children's car seats that were there. But she did appreciate that we wanted our space back and thanked us for our patience. So I said probably we would not be able to do this for a couple of months, and let's work together to clear out that space. Okay. We were thinking that there's a program called Healthy Bones and Balance, which I think is Jeanette is trademarked, right, as a particular thing that you have to train for. But Jeanette also thought that what her exercise programs, her chair yoga, some of the things that she's done could easily be adapted, and we could have maybe people come in person to do exercise classes together, followed maybe by a little social hour, you know, a little tea coffee afterwards to get people out socializing. So that's one idea. And the life path presentation, which we've been discussing, was the second idea. And moving right along, Susan asked about the age and dementia friendly report that came out from Life Path. Is that correct, Susan? Million, yeah. So I found a copy of it. I'll send it around. If we could look at it for next time to discuss in our January meeting, that would be great if everyone could read it between now and then. Susan, have you read it?
Yeah, you don't have to read the whole thing. There's the 8 section, the suggestions in the 8 sections, which is only a few
Okay.
pages.
Okay.
I have 2 copies of that because I went to that launch in Greenfield that went through the whole thing. It's also available digitally as well,
Okay.
and it's very good.
We
Great.
I think it was the link in a recent Life Path newsletter.
Mm.
It was.
Broadband.
Okay. We have homework for next time. So are we good? Can we agree then to terminate the meeting at, what do we have, 7:05
But I have.
by roll call vote? I move that we terminate the COA meeting at 7:05 p.m.
Gray seconds.
Bernhard, aye.
Barbara, I.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
Stockton, I.
Okay. Thank you so much. Becca, thank you. Let us know if you would like to join us.
I will. Thanks a lot, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes.